Dan, welcome. Please put your question to the Mayor.
In the Cabinet meeting on the 4th of July, Councillor Craig said on behalf of Mayor Rees, the NIMBYs who love to roll around on Twitter will never contribute anything other than their negativity. Please can you clarify exactly who you mean? For example, is it every Twitter user who is interested in Bristol that rolls around in NIMBYism, or is it only the people that don't agree with you?
No, I mean, I think there are some realities. I think it was Councillor Cheney you're referring to, who's been an outstanding deputy mayor for Bristol. And dare I say, one of the things that makes him outstanding is he's genuinely grown up on the underbelly of this city, understands what it means to generally struggle without food, without clothing on occasion, new clothing, not running around naked, but taking his clothes out of the lost property stock at school is an incredible human being. So there's a couple of things that I think I pick up on your question. One is Twitter is a very negative place, and it has become a place for people to go and put the one-liners out. I think that's pretty much recognised as a little bit of a universal truth now, and there are such things as NIMBYs. There are people who say, yes, I agree, you need this, but not here. In fact, we were in a big event in London recently, and one of the investors that we would need to come in here to help us solve our problems in Bristol has talked about the new phrase has moved on from NIMBY, and it's now banana. Build absolutely nothing anywhere near anyone. So we as cities all over the UK are facing this challenge of how we deal with our existing landmass. As I repeatedly say, Bristol's 42 square miles. We have a growing population on top of an existing housing crisis. And inevitably, as we try to solve that housing crisis, we have to deal with the consequences of when we say, right, we're going to build here. And that will have pushback. Now, sometimes pushbacks are absolutely, to the point. But sometimes they're not always to the point. And I think that's what we're talking about when those aren't really to the point and they're more about the personal interests of the opposer than they are about the common good of the city.
Thank you. Dan, do you want to respond with a supplementary question on that?
Yeah, you just don't seem to understand that people have deep concerns about the quality of the buildings that are going up. The buildings, people are objecting to these buildings because they're too small, they're not of high enough quality, they're going to end up with a lot of poor people living in them. I hopefully won't be living there.
Dan, apologies, but we've got limited time. This needs to be a question, please.
Does the Mayor understand that people who disagree with him aren't necessarily just being negative?
Of course. I mean, in terms of, I'll come back to that, but in terms of understanding, I do understand about the significance of a poor quality home. I'm not going to point her out, but my mum's here today. We lived in a cold house when I was growing up. We were desperate for a decent house, whether it be in a cold flat in Lawrence Weston and then in Easton before we had central heating. There was periods of time we had no carpet on the floor. We just had the three inch plywood floor covering. So I know about good quality, the importance of good quality homes. I lived at the bottom of Twinnell House and Rawnsley House. I knew people that lived in the flats. I saw when Rawnsley was used as a depository for people with social problems, so they were all in one place at the same time. So to make the jump to say I don't understand is a huge jump, and one that's incredibly unfair. We have set out from the beginning to say we want to build homes. We want to build the right kind of homes, high quality homes, warm homes, affordable homes in the right places to help us solve, the housing crisis that is, upon us. That's what we've set out to do. Anyone that will help us navigate that challenge of how we divvy up that 42 square miles we have, that is Bristol, between the homes we need for a growing population, 550,000 people within the next 27 years, protecting land for work, protecting land for nature, protecting land for leisure. These are wicked challenges. We're all ears to people who make constructive contributions to how we deal with those trade-offs in this finite land space that we have here.
Thank you very much. That, I'm afraid,